It's time to do something I've wanted to do for a long time. My barbecue pork Asian fried rice. But we're gonna do it a totally different way. I've never done this before, so I don't know how it's gonna turn out. We're gonna be using this 22-inch stainless steel Comal on a 22-inch Weber Kettle Grill. But before we get to mixing it all together and cooking it, we have to cook the individual ingredients first. So now it's time to get to the barbecue pork. All right, and today we're gonna be using a 3-pound boneless top loin, a pork loin. And to cut this, I'm gonna be using my 12-inch New West Knife Works carving knife. Now I'm just gonna figure out, do I wanna remove some of this fat that's on here on this fat cap? But to be honest with you, look, it's kind of thick, but I actually think I'm gonna keep it on there. I think it's just gonna add to some really yummy flavor. All right, now we're gonna cut these at right about 1 inch thick. Yeah, 1 inch is good. I don't wanna make the pieces too thick because then the marinade won't penetrate all the way through and give us that really awesome red ring that we really wanna see. All right, now that we've got them all cut, now it's time to poke some holes in them and tenderize them. And also, the holes are gonna allow that marinade to really penetrate deep into the tissue of these little 1-inch cuts of pork. I think this tool is used for cutting onions, but I use it for poking holes to marinate meats better. As you can see, I'm putting a lot of holes through this, and I'm gonna do it on both sides. It's gonna tenderize it, and it's really just gonna help with the penetration of the marinade. As you can see, look at all these holes in here. And here's the secret sauce that makes it all taste good. This char siu sauce. This is a Chinese barbecue pork marinade, and it works really, really, really good. And to give it that vibrant color, we use the dark red dye. You don't need to do this, but it looks really good on the barbecue pork. Just take a teaspoon of it and pour it in there. Then mix it up really, really, really thorough. And you can add more. It just really depends on how dark red and vibrant you want the barbecue pork to be. And just be sure to mix it up really, really good. Then we're gonna take a 1-gallon Ziploc bag and we're gonna open it up, and then we're gonna just put all of these little pork loins inside there, and then we're gonna drizzle the marinade over the top. And this is how they're gonna marinate for the next 4 days inside a refrigerator. I just grab some tongs and I just start throwing all these little pork loins inside here, and it doesn't matter how they go in there. Once we end up pouring all of this marinade in there, we're gonna massage it in really good. Do your best to get as much of the marinade inside the bag. This stuff is kind of sticky, so it's really hard to work with, especially if it's kind of on the cooler temperature. If it's warmed up, it's gonna thin out the viscosity a little bit and it'll be easier to work with. Then just try and take all the air out of the bag that you can. And then we're just gonna zip it up and just go through and massage that marinade into that pork as best as you can, getting it all the way around there on every piece of pork really, really good. Now that we've done that, we just take it and put it in the fridge for 4 days and let it marinate. All right, now it's time for our Kasori rice cooker. Get this thing going. This is a really great little rice cooker. It can make a tremendous amount of rice. You can steam in so much more. We're using some really good premium rice to do this. It gets a little sticky, but we're gonna take 6 scoops of this, which I believe is 6 cups of rice, and we're gonna throw that in there. And then after we get the 6 cups of rice in there, we are going to add 10 cups of water to this, and it's just a little over a cup of water per each cup of rice. And just go ahead and pour it straight into there. You can actually wash the rice ahead of time. That's going to help out too, but I didn't even do that with this, and it came out just perfect. And then just mix it up. That way all the rice kernels fall down to the bottom. And this is how I do it. I usually have about 1.5 inches of water above the rice. So if it's not quite enough water, just go ahead and add more until you have about 1.5 inches of water above the rice. Then close it up. Turn it on. Choose what type of grain of rice you have. This is white rice, and you can choose the texture. And for this, we're just going to go with a regular texture, which is a standard. This is a really advanced cooker. Then just hit start, and it's going to say 50 minutes, but it's only going to take about 25 minutes. And here we are at the end, opening it up, and there's our beautiful rice. And look at all of that. Now we're just going to take it out of the cooking bowl, and we're going to put it directly into, yet again, another 1-gallon Ziploc bag, and this is going to be going into the refrigerator for 24 hours. Okay, so the rice we're using is a little sticky. It's actually like a sushi rice, a really good sushi rice, and it's perfect for that. So if you want it to be a little less sticky, you can go with a different rice, or sometimes people put a little butter in there when it's cooking, even a little bit of oil that actually helps prevent some of that stickiness. Get it all out of there, put it all in the bag, seal up the bag, and we are going to put this in the refrigerator for 24 hours. It doesn't need to be 24 hours. Really, anything over 12 hours will get the job done just fine. And to the fridge it goes. All right, now it's time to set up our Weber 22-inch kettle for an indirect cook for this barbecued pork. Gonna take the grill off. Now it's time to put in our indirect coal basket by Only Fire with a built-in water trough and the slow and sear drip pan with aluminum foil on it. We put the aluminum foil on there because when the drippings fall down, instead of it going directly onto the pan and burning to the pan, it burns onto actually the foil, and it's very easy for us to clean up afterwards. Then we put our grill grate back on, aligning it with the Only Fire coal basket. And now it's time to get our coals going in our little Weber chimney, and we use the fire starter. We use 2 of these. These are just little biomass fire starter cubes. We put them kind of like diagonal kitty corner from one another. And then the charcoal we're using today is Cowboy brand charcoal briquettes. It's got a really good flavor. It's perfect for this type of cook, and it's really affordable. And then we just take our Boy Scout match and we light up these little fire starters. I like to cheat and use this, and it's just fun. Then we just put our chimney right back over the top of those lit fire starters. And we're gonna give it about 12 minutes. I don't like it to be completely ashed over because you're wasting some of that energy. But a good indicator is the smoke. If it's white, it's not ready. Once it starts clear, then we're good to go. And I'm using a really great hinged grill grate that allows me to easily pour in my chimney full of briquettes. Be sure to use gloves and then just pour that chimney full of briquettes directly in there. And just make sure you move them around. That way the grill grate can sit flat once you hinge it back over. You're gonna fill up the water trough with water fully in there. We like to keep everything nice and moist. Pork has a tendency to dry out. It doesn't have a lot of intramuscular fat, so having the water in there will help prevent it from drying out. And the great thing about this hinge grill grate is if you need to top off your coal, you can top it off, or if you need to top off your water, you can just move the grill grate over and easily top it off and flip it back over. Then just put the lid back on and let it come up to temperature for a few minutes. All right, now that everything is nice and hot, we're gonna put our pork on here and get cooking. Nothing fancy here. We're just gonna put them on the grill grate and we're gonna space them out just as even as possible, just allowing enough airflow to get all the way around each piece of meat. You really don't have to go crazy with this. Just space them out as best as you can. Boy, these guys are really slippery. That's for sure. That marinade has lubed them up. Do they look and smell amazing? Hey, if you're getting any value out of this video at all so far, please do me a huge favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and don't forget to go visit my MrFlavorsmith Amazon store at amazon.com/shop/MrFlavorsmith. All right, I'm setting the timer for 10 minutes because we're gonna go 10 minutes on each side. This might go 20 to 25 minutes. I'm not sure yet. We'll just kind of play it by ear. Close the lid. Then we're gonna adjust our top vent to 1/4 of the way to halfway open. All right, here we go. Well, 10 minutes is up, so check them out. Ooh, look at those. Those look good. But the colors change a little bit, but I don't actually think they're done enough yet. So we're gonna close this back up and we're gonna give it another 10 minutes. All right, now let's see what they look like. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Okay. It's really set good. Let's just flip them over. Ooh, God, these guys are really slippery, but man, they are looking good. And they are done pretty good. You know, to be fair, we could almost pull them off right now. But we're gonna keep them on, and I'm okay if they get done a little bit overdone because we're gonna cut them up into tiny little pieces anyway. It's gonna go into our fried rice. Now it's time to sauce them all up with that awesome barbecue pork sauce. And we're just gonna lay it on as thick as we can right now. I'm just using a little silicone brush that's on here for basting, and this stuff it's real sticky, so you know it might take a few passes to lay it on real thick. Put the lid back on, and we are going to adjust our top vent to 1/4 of the way open, set the timer, and wait a few minutes. All right, it only ended up being 5 minutes, but man, look at those now. Wow, look how delicious those look. That sauce is really set perfectly on there. Oh, now we're just going to probe them and see the temperature. 180 170, 167. We're good. We're ready to pull them off. All right, you might notice a little piece of wood on there. That's a little hickory chunk on there just for a little added extra flavor because you know me, I like the flavor stack. Boy, these little guys sure are slippery. Pay attention to all the drippings in that pan right on that foil. That foil is going to make it super easy to clean up. Woohoo! Look at that awesome, rich looking color to it, man, these are gonna be flavoricious for sure. All right, now that you've seen that barbecue pork cook, it took 4 days. Wasn't that insane? But it was 4 days of marinating. That way that marinade got deep into that tissue. Then we put that marinated barbecue pork on the Weber 22-inch kettle for an indirect cooked with a last-minute reverse sear, just to give it a little bit of char and flavor. I didn't show it in the video, but I did just throw it directly over the coals for about 10 to 20 seconds on each side. I want to point out that I actually didn't do any video on it, but I did scramble up 10 eggs for this. How did I do it? I threw the eggs in there. I put a little bit of Lawry's garlic seasoned salt on there and mixed it all up with a little bit of whole milk to get it nice and fluffy. And then I went through, scrambled it up. I poured it in a nice big pan and I let it sit for a few minutes until I saw that the bottom layer was starting to really kind of come through and it started bubbling up. Then I take a single chopstick and I just gradually go through the pan, drawing circles and lines all around there to break it up. That way I get these nice big chunks of scrambled egg. I went through and cut up a couple white onions and 4 bunches of green onions. Now it's time to get into the fun stuff, the equipment and how I'm gonna set it up for this cook. Okay, let's get all this stuff set up, thrown in our Weber 22-inch kettle Master Touch. In this Weber Master Touch series, grill has this really awesome grill grate right here that has a removable center, so we take this out. And this is actually a product made by Skyflame. I thought it was by Only Fire, but it's actually by Skyflame. And I believe it's a Skyflame char kettle is what they call it. And it has a removable trough. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it just like this. Now our coals are gonna be piled up right here and the heat's gonna come up through here and it's gonna hit the bottom of our 22-inch Comal. And so what it's doing is it's holding this bottom bowl area right here in place and actually holds pretty sturdy. Now, I wanna point out something that I might change in the future, but I didn't have time to do right now. I am worried that this is not going to give heat to this upper area because this area is basically gonna just sit on the bottom bowl area. So I think we'll see how it goes today, but eventually I might need to notch out like every few inches, maybe every 4 or 3 inches around here, notch out a little area for the heat to come up and exit through the top of this. But we'll see how this works today. And as you can see, that coal basket is holding the bottom bowl perfect. All right, now we're gonna take it apart. We're gonna get the coals all warmed up and we're gonna get cooking on this and see how good this works. All right, for today, we're gonna use some B&B competition charcoal briquettes. I don't normally use this type of briquette for this type of cook. I usually do it with my snakes where low and slow is really, really critical. But we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot today. We're gonna do a full stack. All right, so what I did is I just put a couple of these little fire starter cubes right underneath, just like that. And I lit them up using my Boy Scout match. Now we're gonna let these smoke, and when they start kind of dying down on the smoke, it's time to throw them in. It's gonna be about 10 minutes. I don't give it the full 15 minutes on this. All right, and as you can see, we're just starting to get a little ashy on the top layer of those, so those coals are good to go. So let's put our Skyflames char kettle in here, just like this. Let's get our gloves on, and we're just gonna pour a chimney right in the center. Put our 22-inch Comal by Concord on here, stainless steel. Let's get cooking. It's been sitting on there for just a minute now. I'm starting to see this color just kind of turn a little bit yellow, and that usually happens with stainless steel once it starts to get kind of like heat treated. So let's see what our temperature's at right now. Just about a minute into it. Turn on our heat gun. So right at the middle, 250 degrees Fahrenheit. This is pretty cool because we have the bottom vent open, so we've got the air coming up through the bottom of the coals, and it is actually, the coals are breathing around the edges here because there's about a inch, maybe an inch and an eighth space between the bottom of the Comal and the top of the kettle. So it is actually breathing pretty good. So we're not gonna have any issues with the coals going out. I was worried about this top area and what the temperature would be for that. And right now, 96 degrees, okay? So let me just make sure that's interesting.
260 in the center, and 98 degrees, so it's almost 100 degrees right there. Okay, so first thing first with this, a very important ingredient, one of the absolutely most important ingredients is out of this. They're all important, but it's the bacon. So this is thick sliced cut bacon, and it's a little over a pound, I would say, closer to 2 pounds of bacon. We're gonna cook that first. We're gonna put that in there. Mix it around. This bacon is what really enhances the flavor of this, and we use this in replacement of oil. I mean, I've never done it in this pan before, so we'll see how it turns out. If we do use oil, we're gonna go to some avocado oil to use it, but I don't think we'll actually need to do that. We'll just let that warm up. I'm just gonna see if this actually fits on top of here. Well, I'll be darned. I'm gonna close that top vent. It does fit on there. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Awesome. Give it a few minutes. All right, it's been about 4 minutes, so open it up. Oh yeah, it's coming along great. All right. Mix it up real good. That way we cook the bacon all the way through, nice and even. Render down that fat. We are gonna be utilizing that for this cook. It is a very important ingredient in here. And I just want to note that if these two handles weren't here, this lip around the edge here is the exact same size as the kettle. So it's 22, and I think it's like 22.5 inches, something like that. If I were to remove those, this lid would fit perfectly on there. So I might do that in a later video. We're about 12 minutes into this. There we go. Now the bacon's starting to get crispy. Exactly what I want to see. Try and get all the uncooked stuff down into that lower level. So far, this is working out pretty cool. Cover it back up. Now, I also have some previous bacon fat from another cook I did. We might end up using that if we run out of enough fat on this one. That rice really likes to suck it up. All right, I think we're gonna do one last mix on this bacon. It's looking pretty good. We still got some pieces that aren't exactly the way I want it, but we're getting close. We're getting real close. Lay it down as flat as I can. That way most of the heat gets to it and it's sitting in that bacon grease. That way the bacon grease is helping cook it. I think we've got just another minute or so. All right, I feel it's now time to flip it around. And we're gonna introduce our onions into it. Let's just mix this up real quick. There we go. Now look at that. Yeah, okay, that's good. Now all of the bacon's done the way I want it. And then now we have our white chopped onion in there. This is just a regular white onion. I'm gonna throw that whole thing in there. Okay, we're just gonna mix it up. We're gonna let that cook for just a minute. Close it back up. All right, it's been just about 2 minutes. Spin them. Man, I tell you what, this already smells amazing. So you want to do things in order though. You want to cook that bacon first, then you want to get these onions in here. You want to get the onions just cooked down a little bit. That way they're just a little bit softer. They're not so as harsh, and it really kind of starts to get that nice yummy flavor to it. I'm gonna give it another minute. All right, it's been about 2 minutes. Let's mix it up and see what we look like. Not sure if the onions are quite where I want them yet. I mean, they're right there. They are right there. When they lose that real vibrant white color and they start to get like a little, where you can kind of see through them a little bit, they lose that solid white color and a little more transparent, then we're just about there. I'm gonna say 1 more minute or so. Let's cover it back up.
I don't know about you guys, but I am highly impressed that that lid fits so perfect on there. Like it was made that way. Hey, do you have this Comal or another one similar to it? If so, how do you use it? What's your favorite dish to cook on it? I would love to hear from you in the comments below, because I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna cook next with this thing. I think it's time for the next ingredient,
which is our barbecue pork. Man, I tell you what, I have never actually made this before, but I am amazed with how this tastes. This came out so yummy. I am definitely gonna be doing it like this all the time moving forward. I used to buy barbecue pork at a store out here. It's called Winco. I don't know if you have them where you're located. Probably not if you're overseas. Back east they might have them, but here in Southern California we have these Wincos, and it was the only place I could get barbecue pork. I tell you what I made was even more flavoricious than that, so that's great. Now I'm just gonna let this heat up for a couple minutes, and I think what I'm gonna do, to be honest, is I am going to introduce some more of this bacon grease from the previous cook, because this rice is gonna soak up a lot of it. So give one quick spin, all of it. All right, we're gonna let that sit for just a minute, and then we're gonna introduce the rice. Fun time is here. Mix it up. Like I said, I've never done this before, so I'm gonna push all of this off to the side as best as I can. If nothing else, this sure is fun. Now let's get the rice in here. I made 6 cups of rice, what turned into this, a ton of rice. So let's just start getting it in there and seeing how it does. I want to get all of it in there. Now that is a lot of rice. All right, this is so cool. All right, let's mix it all in there, I guess. I've never made this much rice at one time before. This is the first time. Wow, that's a lot of rice. Tell you what, that flat, like, spatula, that's the tool for this. Just go through and make sure all that rice is broken up. So this is cold rice that's been in the refrigerator for 24 hours. And I find that cold rice just ends up working better than hot rice does. Hot rice just like soaks it up really too quick, soaks up the fat and everything really quick. And once we get this rice all nicely broken down and mixed together really well, then we'll start adding in the other 3 ingredients. Gotta be a better way to do that. If anybody has any suggestions in the comments how they do this, please share with everybody else. I'm no expert at this, I'm just experimenting. And so far, it's pretty good. I think we have enough bacon fat in here. This looks really good to me. So I'm pleased with that. And we're using the Kikkoman teriyaki stuff. This is the original teriyaki marinade and sauce. I love this stuff and it works really good on here, and I am very gracious with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start putting it on. We're gonna do 1 round like that, then we're gonna mix it up. Go ahead and do another round. Mix that up. Let it sit there for a minute. All right. Been about 2 minutes. I'm gonna do 1 quick mix up. I wish you guys could smell this because it's absolutely amazing. Our second to last ingredient, 10 scrambled eggs. And we're just gonna put some teriyaki sauce right on top of that. Mix it up real good. Throw a little more teriyaki. Let that sit for a minute. All right, mix that up a little bit. Go through and cut those eggs up the size you want. I don't like super big chunks, but I don't like small chunks either. All right, and for the final ingredient, this is about 2, maybe 3 bundles of green onion. Let's put that in there. You just put that in the end because you don't want that to cook down like a lot. You know, this is really just to kind of add some flavor, add some color to the dish, and add some more teriyaki. Mix it up. Push it down to the bottom. This kind of seems to work. Give it a couple minutes. We're probably gonna do that twice. All right, it's been a couple minutes. Mix it up again. This might be the last time of doing it. Oh man, this is looking so good. Put a little more teriyaki. Let it go for a couple more minutes. All right, let's see how we did. One last mix. Wow, wow. This looks really, really good and it smells amazing. We did it. All right, this is so awesome. I am so happy that this worked. Wow. All righty, let me pile it up in the center real quick. You know the reason why. Photo time. Wow, that looks really, really good. All right, it's now time to put it in a bowl and get it ready to buy it in. Look at how yummy that look. Oh yeah, look at that. Sure is a lot of rice. Look at all that rice. That is flavoricious looking for sure. Let's try it. Check it out. That's what we're left with for Coles. So we didn't use very much, but it did the job just perfect. All right, well, I tell you what, that was a lot of fun. I'm really impressed with the way that worked out. I didn't know if it was gonna work, and it did really good. My family's gonna be super excited to chomp in on this fried rice. It's a family favorite, and they absolutely love it. Let's see how it turned out. Look at it. Oh, yeah. Check that out. Here we go. Let's check it out. Yeah, that did it. I tell you what, that is flavoricious. Oh my gosh. Come on. Right, need a moment. Yes, I love it when a plan comes together. Love it, so good. All right, everybody, if you got any value out of this content at all today, please do me a huge favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, all the links to everything I used today is gonna be in the description below. Don't forget to stop over at amazon.com/shop/MrFlavorsmith to visit my Amazon Mr. Flavorsmith shop to see all the gear I use throughout all my videos. And until next time, live a life of flavor.